And now it's time for another Pokemon location guide in Pokemon Sun and Moon. So this video is pretty much going to be the most requested Pokemon locations that I've seen so far. And we're starting off, number 1, with the Dhelmise. So I don't know what it is about Dhelmise. This Pokemon captivates quite a lot of people. Might be the design, might be some of the spooky, haunted ship lore about it. But at the end of the day, there is a 1% catch rate on this Pokemon if you go to Sea Folk Village. However, if you go into the Steelix ship and then you go and reset through the doors, you'll be able to find a special fishing spot. In this special fishing spot, it is still a low 10% chance to catch Dhelmise, but if you waste your spot, then you just go in the door, come back out, and the special spot will be refreshed. So it's just kind of a lot of back and forth grinding. Do not press B though. If you run or move too quickly around a special fishing spot, the fishing spot will go away. So you just have to go in the door and come back out again. So it's a really fast reset on this, and then eventually you will run into the Dhelmise. Fair warning with the Dhelmise though, it is a grass ghost typing, which means it is weak to a lot of things. Make sure you're not hitting it super effective or you might accidentally knock it out, and it is a fairly rare encounter. So after a bit of trying with the Dhelmise, I eventually caught it. It does have a somewhat low catch rate, so it can be a bit of a trick at the same time. And that's how you catch the Dhelmise. So can be very rare, or it can also be manageable depending on if you know where to fish for it. Now I did want to bring up the stats on Dhelmise because I will be doing a guide soon. This is a really interesting Pokemon with that unique anchor shot, some crazy stat distributions, like kind of tanky, not really, but a 131 on the attack says that this Pokemon is going to do some cool things. So maybe that's another reason that people want to see something on the Dhelmise. Might have some competitive fun behind it. Also, what we're going to be doing is checking out where to get Sandyghast. So if you want to get the Sandyghast, head on over to Hano Beach and then go into the Shuffling Sand. Now, interestingly enough, Sandyghast only has a 20% chance of appearing in these little Shuffling Sand areas, but it's the Pokemon made of sand, and it's like possessed sand or something. On that though, you can run into the Staryu, so if you want to star me, I guess that works out for everyone. So you can go and grab the Staryu right there, but that other time you'll be able to find the Sandyghast for yourself. Also, if you want Pyukumuku, you are in luck because you just stay on over at Hano Beach. This place does not seem very safe at all. I mean, there's like sand that wants to steal your soul, and then there's also these frustrating little guys right here, but they can be usable competitively, so you might want to go and grab yourself a Pyukumuku. Pretty much low percent chance that if you're surfing the water, you will encounter one, so that is going to be an easy way of getting Pyukumuku. After that, we are looking for Komala. So Komala will be found on Route 11, and it might be very understandable that you never saw it. Has a 10% encounter rate, and you can go through the entire route without having to go through any grass. So decide to stay on the path, you're just not going to know any of the Pokemon that appear here, and one of them will be the Komala. Also, you can go and get some other Pokemon for yourself. Pancham can appear in this area, and you can SOS battle the Pancham, and if you go for like a hidden ability Pancham, that could be pretty good. Hidden ability Pancham is Scrappy, so you can teach Scrappy Pangoro False Swipe, and then you can use that to help catch some Ghost-type Pokemon or other fairly difficult catch Pokemon as well. And if you get your Pangoro early on in your adventure, you might be able to actually like level it up and then have a really solid Pokemon for catching other Pokemon. Also, Morello can be found here as well. That if you're looking for Morello, try to do these encounters at night. You might be able to pick up all three, Komala, Morello, and the Pancham in a decent amount of time. Now, I saw mini Morello and mini Pancham before I finally got to my Komala. It took me 30 minutes to get Komala, even though it's only a 10% chance to encounter. So I just got really unlucky, and that's kind of idea that you might get unlucky with some of these spots, that you might be there for what seems like a very long time, but this is where you do find those Pokemon. Now, I know that you can find Morello in other places like the Lush Jungle or Brooklet Hill, but if you're already going for Komala, you might as well get ready to get a Morello as well, so the nighttime encounters will be something you might want to aim for. Also, to get Morello in general, it will be at night. Next up, a lot of people wanted to know where to get Togedemaru. Well, Togedemaru can only be found in one patch of grass, and that is going to be on Blush Mountain. So you have to like navigate through the path, get on your Mudsdale, make your way through it, and then get to Blush Mountain. Then inside, this will be the only patch of grass we can find Togedemaru. Also, this will be the location for Turtonator if you have Sun version, since Turtonator is a Sun exclusive. So that's a little bit of a heads up right there. And then the last Pokemon I got a ton of requests for was the Araquanid. So this Pokemon is pretty amazing. Like, the ability is just absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot wait to do a guide on this guy, but you can find it in Mala'i Guardian during the day, 20% of the time. Don't have to worry about version exclusives or anything like that, and that's kind of it. Like, I was going to show footage for it, but I switched it to nighttime, and then I didn't want to switch it back, and after a 30-minute slog for that Komala, man, that absolutely tired me out. That I just could not get in a reasonable amount of time. So you guys know what to do from here. Go into the grass, go grab yourself an Araquanid. Also, Dhelmise can be found in Brooklet Hill during the day. You can either be walking or surfing. Pretty much the Dhelmise over the Araquanid if you want to have this Pokemon during your adventure, so you can find an earlier place to catch this guy. And that just kind of shows there's a lot of really interesting things when going out and catching Pokemon, all the different ways that you can do it. You can do it for the adventure, you can do it competitively, or you can just do it to add it to your collection. If you're doing it competitively, you might want to do those SOS battles, or just get the Pokemon and do whatever. But that Water Bubble ability, though, decreases Fire-type moves by 50% on this Pokemon, increases power of Water-type moves before stab by 100%. That's way too much damage. That's so much boosting, and it prevents the burn, actually. So my first thought is, does this thing get skill swap? Because, like, that's what you want to do. You want to skill swap this into something. Also, we have power split, so yeah, we have some weird stuff. Ooh, it gets the stockpile too, and its stats are really wild. I actually haven't seen its stats yet. Like, for a lot of the Pokemon and guides and stuff, I haven't, like, fully exposed myself. I kind of want to get that fresh reaction in there. So it's a 132 special defense. It's got the mad special defense, low hit points, solid defense, and then low speed. So that's what I'm wondering, like, what if you went and skill swapped? Like, I think that would be a really interesting thing to look into, because it's actually a water bug type Pokemon, so it's neutral on that fire type hit, which means then it gets like an effective bug resistant, or yeah, a water resistance out of it. But then increasing the power of water type moves by 100% before stab. Like, what? That's so ridiculous. And I would imagine that this Pokemon then gets kneecapped on its stats or something, because yeah, that's kind of what it seems like. We still get the Scald though. So Scald gets 160 base power, then stab. So our special attack, you can see our special attack and attack are pretty low, but the liquidation damage doubling into some shenanigans right there. It is pretty slow, but Trick Room and stuff. Okay, yeah, I'm getting really carried away with some of the hype right there. And I also want to talk about, since I did mention Turtonator for that Sun version on Blush Mountain, well, you can also go and find yourself the Drampa. Drampa will be on Mount Lanakila, but it will be inside of the cave. So really weird that you have to go really deep in the game to get your Drampa. You will find the Turtonator a bit earlier, but Drampa's lore makes a lot of sense with that. Comes down with the mountains to play with kids during the morning and stuff like that. So Drampa, just this big old Pokemon that's kind of tucked away inside the mountains and stuff. So if you haven't seen it, probably because it's 10% chance and it's going to be in the cave and not just the entirety of the mountain. So I think that's it for like the Pokemon guides and stuff by now. That I've kind of showed you guys how to do SOS battles. I've showed you guys more of the exclusive Pokemon like Type Null. Type Null isn't hard to get at all. You just soft reset if you want the correct nature, since you don't get any other Type Null and the Pokemon can't breed at all. So there's some other interesting ones, like Ditto is a staple, some SOS battles. The Marini was probably the most interesting one. So I think I have almost everything covered when it comes to Pokemon Sun and Moon for the encounters. I know that I haven't shown all of the Alola decks and all the Pokemon that you can find that way, but that's when you just kind of do your due diligence. You can go click on a Pokemon and then go and find out how to get it from there. That most of it is just going to be an encounter or something. Pokemon like the Salandit, very common, but also at the same time does have to be female to become the Salazzle. So yeah, just go on Cerebi, double check everything. And I'm also looking through the Alola deck stuff, because there's also some Alolan Pokemon that throughout this time I encountered the Alola Geodude. So it's going to be effectively the same thing no matter where you go or what you do for the Pokemon encounters. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that might be a little interesting or tricky. Like, what does the Alola Mola have? That's just going to be fishing. So yeah, this will be a rare Pokemon that you need to go to Brooklet Hill in the Totem's Den and then look for the special fishing spot, or else it's going to be a 1%. But this is going to be the same as, say, if you want to get the Corsola in Melee for that Marini, you can do that. The Dhelmise, we showed that in this video, that you either get a 1% chance, impossibility almost, on the Dhelmise, or we can go into the Alola Momola. And then a lot of the other things are going to be like SOS Pokemon exclusives. And I've already kind of showed most of these Pokemon through this method or something like that. That Marini is the 7th generation location exclusive for this, but then there's some other interesting ones. The Garbodor, the Lucario, that you can get Pangoro next to the Pancham and stuff. People actually got some questions on how to go and get the Jangmo-o. Jangmo-o is in the vast Pony Canyon, so it's where you would expect it to be. It's just that it is a low % chance no matter where you go. All areas of Pony Canyon, top, under the tree, anything like that, but it will be a 5% chance. So if you don't see a Pokemon, don't think that it isn't there. You just have to go look up and double check just to make sure you are in the right location, and then it's just odds from there. Like I said, it took me 30 minutes. I'm going to be so salty about that Komala because it took a very long time. Now I'm just checking through the drop-down list just a bit more. And then I guess like the last one, Dratini, that you can actually get Dragonite from that SOS battle, so that'd be something interesting. The so pretty much Pony Island, wherever you can like fish and surf and stuff, so fishing in special spots will have a 10% chance to get the Dratini. So pretty much what it took to get Dhelmise, but a little longer because the Dhelmise refresh is so quick and stuff, but the Dratini is still going to be a pretty awesome Pokemon to get. That should be it for the catching guides. I don't think it gets any more technical than that, so I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.